The year is 1944. The European sky, a stage of steel and fire, echoes with the deafening roar of engines. Above, amid trails of smoke and shrapnel, the Luftwaffe, the German Air Force, imposes its rule. Its fighters, agile winged predators, weave a deadly dance of destruction, dominating the space with almost arrogant confidence. For the Allied bombers, each deep bombing mission into the heart of Germany is a harrowing journey through a corridor of death. At every moment, threat looms in the air, personified in the dark silhouettes approaching with blazing machine guns. But that day, something in the sky was about to change. Amid the deadly ballet of German fighters, a new shadow appears on the horizon, a sleek, menacing silhouette with lines that suggest speed and power. It is an intruder, an outsider who dares to challenge German aerial supremacy. Slowly but with relentless determination, this new aircraft approaches, disrupting the established narrative of dominance. The sound of its engine, a deep and powerful baritone, begins to overpower the high-pitched chorus of German fighters, heralding a new era. It is the P-51 Mustang. Its arrival on the scene is not just the arrival of yet another fighter plane. It is a harbinger of a turning point. The exact moment when the balance of power in the skies over Europe begins to tip decisively in favor of the Allies. That day, marked by the Mustang's stunning debut, would not be just another day of war. It would be remembered as a day when the war high above took an unexpected turn. A turning point that would echo throughout the battles on land and at sea, ultimately sealing the fate of the conflict. Before that iconic Mustang took to the skies, the situation for the Allies in the European theater was dire, especially in the air domain. The Luftwaffe in the early years of World War II was a formidable force, a well-trained and equipped aerial war machine, the fruit of years of development and experience in the Spanish Civil War. Its pilots were often more experienced, and its aircraft, such as the Messerschmitt Bf-109 and the Focke-Wulf FW-190, posed a constant challenge to the Allied forces. This German air superiority was not just a matter of national pride. It had profound tactical and strategic implications. One of the greatest problems facing the Allies was the protection of their strategic bombers. Daylight bombing missions, crucial to dismantling the German industrial infrastructure, were extremely risky. Without effective fighter escorts to accompany them to their targets and back to their bases, the heavy American bombers became easy prey for the agile fighters of the Luftwaffe. Losses were catastrophic, with entire squadrons being wiped out, compromising the Allies' ability to sustain the air campaign. The root of this problem lay in the limited range of the Allied fighters available at the time. Aircraft such as the P-47 Thunderbolt and the P-38 Lightning were excellent in combat, possessing considerable firepower and piloted by courageous men. However, their flight range was insufficient to escort the bombers on their long sorties over enemy territory. They would reach a certain point, complete their range, and be forced to turn back, leaving the vulnerable bombers at the mercy of the German fighters. This inability to provide continuous and effective escort was a critical flaw, a weakness that the Luftwaffe exploited masterfully and which narrowly avoided compromising the Allied bombing strategy, significantly delaying the course of the war. Paradoxically, the aircraft that would become the solution to this critical impasse was not born out of an immediate need for the American Air Force. Its origins are, in fact, a fascinating story of a project conceived to meet the demands of another country, Great Britain, which desperately needed modern fighters to face the Luftwaffe in the skies over Europe. In 1940, North American Aviation, an American company, was approached by the British Purchasing Commission with a request to produce the Curtiss P-40 Warhawk fighter under license. However, rather than simply replicate an existing design, North American proposed something more ambitious: to design and build an entirely new fighter, superior to the P-40, in a surprisingly short time frame. The result was the NA-73X, the prototype that would give rise to the P-51 Mustang. Early versions of the Mustang, equipped with an Allison engine, showed promise, especially in ground attack and reconnaissance missions. However, Its performance at high altitudes was lacking, which limited its potential as a long-range escort fighter. Then came a true revolution, an unlikely marriage that would transform the Mustang from a promising aircraft into a legend. The decision to equip the P-51 with the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, a powerful and sophisticated British engine, proved to be a masterstroke. The combination of the Mustang's refined aerodynamics with the Merlin's power and efficiency resulted in a fighter with exceptional performance at all altitudes, especially at high altitudes, where decisive dogfights often took place. This mistake, an American aircraft initially designed to British and later powered by a British engine, ended up becoming the weapon the United States desperately needed to turn the tide of war in the skies over Europe. The introduction of the Merlin-powered P-51 Mustang marked a dramatic turning point in the air war over Europe. For the first time, Allied bombers had an escort capable of accompanying them throughout their missions, from takeoff from bases in England to targets deep in Germany and back. The Mustang's long range, combined with exceptional speed and maneuverability at all altitudes, transformed vulnerable bomber formations into flying fortresses. American fighter pilots could now engage Luftwaffe interceptors before they could even reach the bombers, effectively protecting them and drastically reducing losses. This new reality meant a slow but inexorable decline of German air supremacy. The Luftwaffe, which had once soared in the skies, began to suffer unsustainable losses. German pilots, many of them seasoned veterans, found the Mustang to be a worthy, if not superior, adversary. The air battles became more evenly matched, and gradually the initiative shifted to the Allies. The P-51's ability to not only escort bombers, but also to fly sweeping missions, actively hunting German fighters on their own territory, undermined the morale and operational capability of the Luftwaffe. German factories, once protected by their air force, became increasingly accessible targets for Allied bombers, hastening the collapse of the Nazi war machine. The impact of the P-51 Mustang was particularly felt in the preparation and execution of Operation Overlord, the Normandy landings. Air superiority was a fundamental prerequisite for the success of the invasion, and the Mustang played a crucial role in ensuring that the skies over the beaches were dominated by Allied forces. The ability to prevent the Luftwaffe from interfering with the landing operations and the subsequent ground advance was vital to victory. Ultimately, the aerial dominance achieved largely thanks to the P-51 Mustang contributed significantly to the shortening of the war and the final defeat of Nazi Germany. The skies of Europe, once a bastion of the Luftwaffe, became a stage for freedom, paved by the aluminum wings of the Wild Horse. Among the thousands of brave pilots who flew the P-51 Mustang, a few stood out, elevating themselves to legendary status in the annals of aviation history. One such man, whose name echoed with awe in the cockpits of the Luftwaffe, personified the Mustang's lethality and skill: Chuck Yeager. His story is a testament to the audacity, precision, and determination that characterize the P-51 aces. Yeager, a young pilot with keen vision and quick reflexes, quickly adapted to the Mustang's exceptional qualities. Flying escort and sweep missions, he demonstrated a calculated aggression and mastery of aerial combat that made him one of the Germans' most feared pilots. His combat accounts, replete with daring maneuvers and split-second decisions, paint a vivid picture of the intensity of dogfights over Europe. Not only did he fiercely protect the bombers, but he also actively sought out enemy fighters, racking up an impressive number of confirmed aerial victories. Yeager's combat statistics are breathtaking. In a single day, he shot down 5 German fighters on 2 separate missions, a feat that elevated him to the select group of one-day aces. By the end of the war, he had scored a significant number of victories, cementing his reputation as one of the greatest American aces of World War II. But his impact went beyond numbers. Yeager embodied the indomitable spirit of Mustang pilots, the combination of exceptional piloting skill and aircraft superiority that helped turn the tide of the air war. His story is not only that of a gifted pilot, but also that of a symbol of the paradigm shift in the skies over Europe. where the P-51 Mustang, in the hands of men like Chuck Yeager, sealed the fate of the Luftwaffe and contributed decisively to the Allied victory. Even with the end of World War II and the advent of the jet age, the P-51 Mustang was not relegated to oblivion. Its versatility and performance still made it a valuable aircraft. During the Korean War in the early 1950s, the Mustang returned combat duty, this time under the colors of the U.S. Air Force and its allies. Although jets were already on the scene, the P-51 proved particularly effective in close air support missions for ground troops. Thanks to its ability to fly low and slow with precision and its considerable load of bombs and rockets, its ruggedness and endurance also made it suitable for operating from improvised runways and for carrying out long-range missions over the Korean Peninsula. The influence of the P-51 Mustang on modern fighter design is undeniable. Its elegant and efficient aerodynamics, especially its laminar wing profile, served as inspiration for many later designs. The combination of a powerful engine with a fuselage carefully designed to minimize drag set the standard for high-performance fighters. While materials and technology have evolved dramatically, the design principles that made the Mustang so successful are still echoed in the designs of many contemporary fighters. Its history demonstrates the importance of a balance of power, maneuverability, and range, qualities that continue to be crucial to air superiority. But the P-51's legacy transcends its military applications and technical influence. It has become one of the most iconic aircraft in aviation history for a number of reasons. First, its aesthetic beauty is undeniable. Its flowing lines and elegant proportions make it a visually striking aircraft, even to the lay observer. Second, its story is inextricably linked to a pivotal moment in world history, a period of great trial and triumph. The Mustang embodies the ingenuity, courage, and determination of the Allied forces in the fight against totalitarianism. Third, the stories of the pilots who flew it, men like Chuck Yeager, add a layer of heroism and adventure to its narrative. The P-51 Mustang is not just a machine. It is a symbol of freedom, innovation, and the indomitable human spirit that seeks to overcome challenges and reach the skies. Its legend, forged on the battlefields of World War II and reaffirmed in later conflicts, lives on, inspiring generations and ensuring its eternal place in the pantheon of aviation.